Hey everyone, welcome back to Eyes on the Ball. Today's episode 14. It's been a long time since the last episode, not gonna lie. Because the last episode was preseason. The NBA already started. It's been like 3 weeks, I think. It's been a lot that has happened, There's been some drama. There's been teams that we didn't expect to be on the top, Teams that we did expect to be on the top, And there's some teams that are kind of in the middle that we didn't think would be in the middle too. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been a lot of games too. Not really a lot of games. It's been like I think around like maybe like a little bit less than a tenth of the games we've gone through so far. But yeah, the NBA's back. It's so good, honestly, seeing like being able to go on the League Pass or like whatever local channel and seeing an NBA team play. Like it's so fucking like rewarding and it's so like awesome. Like it's like I don't know. I feel like I got my joy back low key with the NBA being back. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm very, very, very excited to keep on watching games, keep on checking out teams, seeing how they're doing. There's a lot of teams that have been good this year, and some of them are the teams that we expected to do good as well. But there's also been some incredible performances from like either other role players or previous stars, and even the rookies. So the first thing I do want to talk about before we go into it are the rookies. I think a lot of the rookies have been crazy so far. The main ones that really kind of like are notable that I'm kind of looking at and thinking like like these guys are gonna be fucking amazing. Obviously, VJ Edgecombe has been insane. To drop 34 points on your debut NBA game is insane. The fact that he was able to drop that amount of points, being efficient, and they won that game too, that's incredible. And then he's been averaging really great points ever since then too. I think he's averaging around more than 18 a game, and he's been putting up great numbers. One thing that I did not expect was that he handles the ball pretty well, which is something that which is like a flaw that some people had about him. They were kind of worried about his handling, but he's been pretty good. He's not turning the ball over too much. Great handles, can get to the rim very effortlessly. A lot of it has to do with being so athletic, freakishly athletic. There was a poster attempt I saw against I think it was against the Nets. I don't know if it was on Nick Claxton or Sharp or some other player, but he fucking lifted off from like a little bit beyond the free throw line, and like the amount of space between him and the rim and the guy who was postering was insane. He missed it, unfortunately. I think it would have been like dunk of the year, not gonna lie. But I feel like I'm watching like fucking damn near rookie or sophomore job of like a little bit stronger and like a way bigger wingspan. But yeah, he's phenomenal. I think he's gonna continue to be great, and he has a very good backcourt member to kind of duo to fall back on. Tyrese Maxey, he's been insane, and I'll talk about him a little bit later too. But yeah, he's been incredible. Cedric Howard, I think is like before yesterday's game, which was not yesterday's game. I think Monday's game against the Pistons. I think he had like a 70 plus true shooting percentage, while like averaging like almost 16, 17 points, which is like insane. Like it makes sense because everybody I think Coward has like this mystique around him where he's like a very strong, smart, intuitive player. Like he's gonna be like that Swiss Army knife kind of wing, while also being very efficient, taking the smart plays, playing basketball the right way, extremely gifted on the defensive end as well. And he's been shooting the lights out, which is hilarious because the preseason, I don't think he made a single fucking three in the preseason, which is fucking insane. And now he's like one of the better shooters on the team, shooting 40 plus percent from three, which is like amazing. Like that's what you want. And people, that was one of the main things coming into this season when people were talking about like how good of a prospect he was the fact that he could shoot. Like that was one of his biggest strong suits, and actually seeing it now, it's crazy. Like the nigga damn near automatic, right? And so again, you want to see that from him, and he's been great. He's been extremely good at guarding the 1 to 5. He's very versatile, and that's what we want. That's what we've always wanted. The Grizzlies always needed a wing who can allow Jaren to be the defender that he is, without having to be a POA defender or always having to be like protect the rim. And we're kind of missing that with Zach Edey being out. But again, I'll talk about the Grizzlies later because we are going to talk about the Grizzlies for sure. Would not be a Sriracha eyes on the ball pod without a Grizzlies segment. You know what I mean? So, but he's been amazing. He's been great. Another rookie was obviously Cooper Flagg is like the other rookie, the number 1 rookie. Coming into the draft, coming into the NBA first game, I wasn't really too big on him. I didn't think he was gonna be like, I wasn't with all of the hype that he had surrounding him. I didn't think he was gonna be like the next people. And again, he could be for sure. But people were saying like the next LeBron and stuff. I was like, what? relax. But I think again, he's still gonna be pretty great. I don't know what's stopping him from like obviously he has a transition into the NBA, playing with stronger people, stronger guys, more athletic guys. The transition into NBA from college is always gonna be hard for certain players, but he doesn't really shoot the 3 ball too well. His efficiency isn't really the best. Jason Kidd has him playing the 1, which is for the sake of his development and I think his future. I don't think the Mavs are gonna go anywhere this year in terms of like contending, especially now that I think Anthony Davis is like kind of like injured already, and Kyrie still don't know when he's coming back. I know I was high on the Mavs coming into this, but again, that was with barring injuries kind of thing, and injuries are already affecting them. So I don't want to say it's a throwaway season because anything can happen. They're in the Western Conference. The teams are the records will be close. Teams will be close. I think near the end of the season, but yeah, I think over time it's going to be a lot better for him, especially as he continues to develop his handle, develop his kind of dribble penetration, not only creating shots for himself but his teammates. I think like they are playing him out of position for sure, but I don't think these on ball reps are gonna hinder his game come the future. But I do think it's gonna hinder his confidence a little bit. I think it's gonna affect whether or not he continues to play with no confidence in himself to be like as great as he should be or could be. I just hope it doesn't, because I think again, like I understand why you would, especially in this position, being forced into playing a point guard when you're not really a point guard at all. But I think over time it will get better for him. It's just a matter of time, and hopefully Kyrie comes back sooner, and he doesn't have to play the point guard anymore. He could play his position, which is being a forward, right? I'm trying to think of another rookie. I know I don't remember his names, but CMB, I think from the Raptors, has been phenomenal. Very versatile. Being athletic as he is. The Raptors have like fucking 4 wings that are starting, and they're like all pretty great at defending. And they've been a pretty good team this year too. I think they've been pretty decent. I think they lead the league in like passes, which is like very interesting too, because I think a guy like you expect a guy like Brandon Ingram to be like a really like 2 feet on the floor, kind of what is that called, like a telephone box kind of player where they're like really like post up, dribble, get to their spot, shoot. And I think Brandon Ingram is, but he's also a really good connected playmaker, which is something that you love to see, and they've been really good this year. Trying to think of another rookie. I think the rookie from the Hornets that I mentioned last episode, I still don't know his name. Has been like really efficient around the rim. I think he hasn't like missed at all really too much around the rim. So that's awesome. And the Hornets have been great this season too so far. So yeah, and what other rookies am I thinking of or can I think of? Nick Clifford, but I don't think he's I don't know if he's injured, but I don't really see too much of him. Um, he might be injured. I don't know though. I'm not entirely sure. Uh, I think that's it for the rookie that I'm kind of like thinking about right now. Um, yeah, yeah. Wow. I feel like I'm missing another rookie that I should be remembering, but I don't remember. Oh, Dylan Harper. Oh my God, Dylan Harper. Oh, and Ace Bailey, them two. Dylan Harper got injured, and we don't know when he's coming back, which sucks because he was really good for the Spurs. You're talking about like a player who's poised, plays at their own tempo, finishes at the rim really well, and can I don't want to say a three-level scorer, but they're really good downhill. They have the mid-range bag. Like he looks really comfortable for a rookie, and people calling him like K Cunningham regen, which is kind of like I see it. Like I think low key like you see the physical appearances of certain players and you compare them to other players already in the league too. So I get it. Cause he has like the afro that Cade kind of has too, but or Cade had because he has a braids now, but he looks amazing and or looked amazing. It sucks to see him fall. But I think hopefully it's nothing crazy. It is a calf injury though, so it's okay in my opinion to sit him out so early and stuff like that. Like I think it's much better to just rest him and hope for the best when it comes to him. Um, but yeah, and Ace Bailey had like I think tendonitis in his knees or something like that coming into the season, which sucks because preseason he was pretty good, but now he's been kind of like you're not really seeing him on the floor because of the injuries. So those are two rookies that you hate to see be fall so quickly, but hopefully they come back soon. They come back quick. They show the league what they're made of because I think they're gonna be pretty good players, especially Harper. Um, yeah, those are it for the rookies that I can remember or think of that are notable. Um, but yeah, it's a pretty strong class. I have no idea who's gonna win the rookie of the year race because obviously you could say VJ Edgecombe could or probably even will, but I think you can make the case for Cedric as well because Cedric has been fucking hooping and again defensively as well. I think a lot of advanced stats also prefer Cedric, because again like defensively Cedric is just insane. Like he is so good at using his kind of like his frame to trap players and trap ball handlers and kind of like create this barrier where like players just can't go over, and it's something that not a lot of longer players in the league, taller players in the league, like they can't really do it like him, especially because they're not agile enough or fast enough like him. And he's great. Like he's phenomenal as a defender. And even again on the offensive end, he's really I feel like he's really not as a cutter, but he really likes to get like physical under the rim, like a Zion kind of thing. Not like bully bars or anything like that, but like if he's under the rim or like he's in like out of bounds jumping into the rim, like he'll use his shoulder, he'll headbutt your ass if you under there and put it up. So yeah, he's been great. But yeah, that's it for the rookies. Now for the teams, obviously I'm recording this on the 6th. Today's the 6th. Let me confirm. No, the 5th. You see? That's why I confirmed. Today's the 5th. As of yesterday, last night actually, there's only one team that has not lost it, and that's what do you think? Okay, see, they're 8-0, which is insane. The first game of the season, they had a double OT against the Rockets. Um, Ended on some controversial calls on both sides of the court for both teams realistically. And then I think they played the Nuggets right after, or maybe the Pacers. And then that also ended in a double OT, which is insane. Two double OTs back to back is fucking hilarious, honestly. But they ended up walking out of there winning. I know Matherin got injured, I think like pretty early into the season. Obi Toppin got injured, like also he's out for like 2 months with the Pacers. So, it's kind of tankathon for them, which honestly, like, it makes sense. But what I will say, though, is it is kind of crazy because I feel like they're going through the same thing that the Mavericks did the year before. Like, like, obviously nobody's been traded yet, and nobody will get traded. I don't think anybody's going to get traded this time. But, they just won, they just made it to the finals, and now they're the team facing the injury bug, right? Like, the Mavericks literally had that. They went against the Celtics, faced an injury bug, everybody was injured, and especially as a team that, like, so easily is a contending team for the ring, and, like, they just fail because of the injuries, right? And the Pacers are literally going through that right now, which is, like, very, very fucking unfortunate, and it sucks to see. But hopefully, things work out, and, hopefully, like the Mavericks, they get the number one pick. Hopefully the Pacers get the number one pick. I think that'd be a team that deserves it, to be honest. I don't know who they would want, whatever, but that's beyond the point, besides the point, whatever. But yeah, OKC has been phenomenal. They lead the league in net rating. They've been incredible defensively as always, and it's crazy because they're still missing J-Dub. I think Lou Dort got injured last night, but we don't know yet if it's like a permanent injury. I know they play again tonight. Again, they play a back-to-back. I think they play the Blazers. So we don't know yet if it's like a really bad injury. But, that's another body that might go down, or at least it's going to be like questionable in and out kind of thing. Caruso has been like in and out of injury. I think Shet as well sometimes, or he's at least not 100% for sure because you can see it the way he plays on the offensive end. But they're dealing with some injuries for sure. The players still play most of the time, but some of the guys that are missing aren't really. I don't want to say they're not impact changers or like game changers, because they are for sure, especially everybody on that team. Because like everybody on that team is so locked in defensively, and seeing it, like watching them on the defensive end is honestly like, it's so, like, it feels suffocating as a viewer. I can't imagine as a player playing against that defense. But yeah, they've been great. 8-0. They can. I mean, can they do 82-0? Can they beat the Warriors record? They could. I think SGA is that. SGA has mastered, when I say mastered, he has mastered scoring. Like, you can't. Like, he literally goes onto the court, gets his 30, and then gets off the fourth quarter. Like, he's mastered it. He's just mastered scoring, and it's insane. Like, he really has become such an elite scorer. Again, a lot of it, in my opinion, and I'm gonna keep saying this when it comes to him, because I feel like I don't think it's off to say that it, like, that it's like not important as to why he's so great as a scorer. But again, like, the foul drawing thing is like real, right? Like, defenses will play you less physical if they know you're gonna take advantage of them being overly physical. And it's just it's not even like an NBA thing. It's like, you can play college ball, high school ball. If you're getting fouled or you're playing overly physical defense, to stop because you don't want to get fouled out the game. But yeah, again, he's been great. I think I have his numbers here. He's been averaging 33.6 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists on 52.6 field goal percentage. This was before last night's game. So I don't know what he's averaging exactly right now, but he's averaging around the same amount, I'm pretty sure, because, again, Mr. Consistent, right? Yeah, I just saw a stat on that team too, which is kind of crazy. That the on and off rating on the defensive side, the defensive rating on and off when Shea is off the floor is 87. Dude, that's fucking insane. 87 is like, you're basically holding opponents to 87 points is what that, like, per like 100% possessions, I think is what that's based. is like what that stat is calculated based off. But again, like holding the team to 87 points without Shea is insane. It goes to like 110, I think, with Shea on the floor. But they have like a huge net rating because the offense absolutely leaps when Shea is on the floor. But yeah, so he's just been phenomenal on the offensive side as always. Another team, the Bulls. The Bulls have been fucking incredible. They were supposed to lose last night to the 76ers. They were down like 20-4, and they somehow came back. How the fuck did they come back? And they lost to a Coochie Voochie game winner? Are you serious? If I was a 76ers fan, if I was a 76ers player, bro, you'd be seeing red on the court. I'm not gonna lie, because that's crazy. A Vooch game winner, a hook. What the fuck? I mean, you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles. I know Kenny Beecham was bugging last night too, because the main thing that the Bulls have was like they leave their opponent, and this is the thing that OKC did too, and OKC I think continues to do. But they leave their opponents wide open on the three. They're daring the opponents to shoot. The problem is they don't make them. If they're not gonna make them, leave them open. Why not? You know. So yeah, but I mean, it's the Bulls have been incredible. Before I go on further and yap, some notable players that I want to talk about. Luka has been averaging 41 points, 11.5 rebounds, 8 assists in 4 games, and also shooting 54 field goal percentage. Absolutely insane. I think he will. I'd be surprised if he doesn't win MVP this year. The Lakers look good. They look a lot better than what I thought they were going to be. Rob was kind of mad because he was like, because I had the Warriors above the Lakers and the Clippers too, and you know, he was kind of shitting on me for underrating the Lakers and Reeves. He was mentioned in the A.M., but we're not gonna mention the A.M. because the A.M. not really. I mean, he's been good though. He's been good too though. I'm not gonna. I won't hate too much, but no, Reeves and Luka has been incredible. I think honestly the best backcourt duo in the league. Like, it's a battle between Luka, Reeves, and VJ and Maxey, to be honest. I mean, both of them have been fucking incredible. But yeah, and they play again tonight too. They play against the Spurs. I cannot wait for that game. Anyways, Giannis has been averaging 34 points, 13 rebounds, and around to 7 assists on 70% true shooting percentage. 70% true shooting percentage. 70. I think that's relative true shooting percentage. I think the average is like 60 right now, so it's like a 10 plus relative true shooting percentage. So that's, I mean, he's fucking him. We're talking about like MVP candidates this year have been crazy because, like, you know, all of these guys that I'm at the list, apart from like maybe one of them, seems to have a case so far. Obviously, there's another player that I don't have here that I should, and I'm surprised that I don't. Wow, I don't. I thought I had him here. Wemby being that player, I don't know what the fuck he's averaging, but I know he's averaging stupidly high numbers and numbers that might win him MVP depending on how successful the Spurs are. But anyways, next player, Maxey, 33.7 points. I'll round it. 5 rebounds, 9 assists, which is, I did not know he was averaging 9 assists. That's incredible. And he's been shooting 46% from 3 on 9 attempts a game. I'm jealous. This guy, who is like an incredible downhill player, uses his athleticism to get to the rim, has become a great 3-point shooter, and he's still good at going downhill and getting to the rim. John Morant, get in the fucking gym with the dude who fucking trained him on his shot, because you need it. Because, oh my god, This is literally Tyrese Maxey. What Tyrese Maxey is doing right now is everything that Ja should also be doing right now. If Ja focused on his three the way that Tyrese Maxey has been doing, holy fucking shit, we'd have two of the same guards in the league right now going absolutely bizarre. And I think John Moran is a better playmaker than Maxey too. But obviously it doesn't fucking matter because Maxey's is like an infinitely better scorer. I mean, the dude is fucking phenomenal. Like, he's like, when it comes to like really breaking down players and their skills and what they're good at, like, when it comes to Maxey, it's like, it's simple. It's like, I'm fast as fuck and I can shoot. So if you're gonna give me space, I'm gonna shoot this bitch. If you're not gonna give me space, I'm gonna dribble past you and I'm gonna get to the rim. It's that simple when it comes to him, right? And he's been absolutely incredible. He's been incredible this year. He had like 39 points last night in that loss, but he missed the game-winning shot. Ja Morant would not. Anyways, yeah, Shea has been average. Oh, I already mentioned Shea, but yeah, those four guys have been incredible, and they're gonna continue to be great. Yeah, there's nothing else to say with them. I think MVP candidates so far, them four plus Luka, plus Wemby and Jokic, I think it's all between them so far. Yeah, it's nasty. It's just disgusting. It's crazy, cause I feel like it's so weird seeing these like teams and these players drop such high numbers all the time now. Like, I think people were saying, like, the first night of the NBA, it was like 40 bombs, 30, like everybody had a fucking 40 bombs. I think Lauri Markkanen had like 50, I think, in the third Utah Jazz game or something like that. What the fuck? What is he doing dropping 50? But he dropped 50, Reeves dropped 50, Shea dropped 50, I think twice or one time. Maxey dropped 50. I forgot who else dropped 50. Did Maxey drop 50? I don't remember. But yeah, people were dropping 50 at the DoorDash discount, going crazy. So like, yeah, like, people are like saying like, oh, the defense is ass now. Like, nobody's playing defense, and I just don't think that's true. I think the defense is, especially come playoff time. Everybody's gassing the defense come playoff time. So now it's like, I think again, regular season, like, it's harder to adjust to a player that's going off than the playoffs, right? Because the playoffs, you get to play them again, right? The regular season is like, it's 48 minutes of game time and that's it. You play another team the next game. So like, it's hard to adjust on the fly like that. And that's what I think makes it harder for these defenses to really restrict these players. Another player I wanted to mention was D-Book. He's averaging 30 points, 30 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and is shooting 45% from 3 with 6 attempts. And that's kind of surprising because, like, I don't think he really had a good start his first 2 games, and like, his numbers have shot up immensely. He's been really, really good. That game that we had against them, or John had the game winner, shit, D-Book had like a nice 3 that, like, that shit scared the fuck out of me because I really thought it was gonna be in. I'm not gonna lie, but no, he's been great this year. I think he's gonna continue to be good. It's crazy seeing how much his stats have blew up since KD left. Not a diss to KD at all, of course, but it's crazy. Like, D-Book was really accommodating his game to like having Beal and KD on a team, and now that he doesn't have to anymore, like, he has a shot diet and he has the opportunity to keep on busting out those shots, and like, his numbers are gonna go up. Obviously, of course, and again, he's been great, so that's awesome from him. I think you can. It's gonna be one of those things where you kind of like. D-Book has always been good, and I think D-Book has always been respected, especially in the previous years. Ant kind of took that spot. Demon kind of took the top 1 shooting guard spot. They've been in a battle, and D-Book kind of got left behind, but it's really because of team success, and also individual stats kind of like faltering. the Suns are kind of winning right now, while he's dropping crazy stats. So I don't not expect, his PR to go back up in terms of SG1 talks. But yeah, next up we're gonna talk about some teams. We're gonna talk about the top 6 offensive rating teams and top 6 defensive rating teams. I kind of wanted to do like some stats at least, because I think it's too early for like certain sample sizes, because I don't expect any of this to stay the same. Like in a couple months, couple weeks, really. But it could also be the same too. We never know. I think some teams that are here are gonna stay here, but other teams you'll see some going away. Top 5 offense or top 6 offense, the Rockets. And this is fucking hilarious to me. The Rockets having the number 1 offensive rating is insane. They're also top 3 in points per game at the time of me writing these notes, which is like yesterday, the 4th, right? They have a 123 offensive rating and scoring 124.8 points a game. And it's hilarious to me because it's like offense was the thing that everybody was concerned about. We all were concerned about their offense, and now they're number 1 offensive rating. Like, what the fuck is going on, right? They're not even top 6 in defense, which is insane, in defensive rating, which is insane because you would think the opposite, right? But no, they're top 1 in offense. That problem, check it off. It doesn't fucking matter anymore. Offensive doesn't matter. I think a lot of it has to do with not only of course KD, but I think a lot of it is the Rockets. They're still top 7 in defense. They're like, which is 111.2. That's their defensive rating. So like they're still pretty good defensively, but you would have thought that like it'd be flipped at least. Like you would have thought their defense was number 1 and their offense was like 7. But no, I mean they've been great on the offensive side. A lot of it has to do with I think Şengün and Steven Adams being just like absolutely impactful and very essential offensive rebounders. I think they rebound like 41% of like offensive rebound capable possibilities. So like they're basically collecting 41% of their makes back, and either are gonna score again, have a second chance point opportunity, or again like they extend the possession, right? So they're gonna win the possession battle because they have these 2 offensive rebounders that are fucking disgustingly great. And so yeah, they've been amazing. Obviously KD's been great. And it does worry me because, or it did worry me that Amen was not going to be good as a point guard. Like you can see it in the first game that they had. Amen was not that good as like the PG. I think they have Fareed playing the 1 now more, but Amen was not looking that good. Again, he doesn't really have the jumper either. Not really that good at handling the rock as well. But again, like so early to the season, you can expect it to change for sure, and I think it will change. It's just a matter of time. Again, it's still really early into the season. Things will change. It's still too early, I think, in my opinion, to really rate these teams, especially that aren't like really proven just yet. Rate them so high. But yeah, Rockets are number 1 on offensive rating. 76ers are number 2. They have an offensive rating of 123 while averaging 125.7 points a game. Again, they've been absolutely phenomenal. They have one of the best backcourts in the league with VJ and Maxey. Embiid has been playing kind of on and off. Obviously, he's not the same player that he used to be for sure, but he's still really good. Kelly Oubre has been again. I think Kelly Oubre is kind of an underrated player. He's kind of always been good on every team that he's in. I know he's a journeyman at this point, but I think he's an underrated player in my opinion. I think he's gonna continue to do great for that team on both ends of the floor. Great shooter, great defender, just a good player overall. Again, they also have Adam Bona, who's amazing as a backup center, and I think he's going to continue to do great on the defensive end as well. The Nuggets are number 3. They have 121.2 offensive rating. Makes sense because of Jokic. Jokic has been almost averaging a triple-double since the first game of the season. And I was kind of worried about him because the first game that I watched with him, like, he looked kind of sluggish. He looked kind of slow. Like, he was almost, like, out of shape already. But, I mean, he's been, ever since then, like, I mean, he's been pretty great. He's looked amazing. And I think he's going to continue to do good. As always. I'm kind of, I thought they would be number 1, to be honest. It's not too far off from being number 1. Like, they're third. But they've been great so far. That team has been something. They're actually one of the only teams to be top 5 on both offensive and defensive rating. So, which is really kind of important, like, for a team to be top 5 in both. That's what you want, right? And again, defense was something that they were lacking in the regular season last year, but they've been great, obviously, in the playoffs. So, I mean, again, like, talking about a team that can win it again, or not again, but can win it all. I mean, they're obviously up there. They're up there, of course. Cam Johnson has been great for them. Hasn't been really shooting it well, but he's so good at cutting and kind of like feeding off of Jokic's passes. Again, I think Cam is a really, really, really intellectual player, and I think as games go on, like, they're gonna I think that pick and roll duo is gonna be really, really, really great. Again, like, either as having Cam be like the ball handler, or again, like, be like a cutter, right? And Jamal Murray pick and roll game of Jokic. But again, they're gonna be really good. The 4th team are the Bucks. 119.8 offensive rating, averaging 122 points, 0.7 points per game. They've been phenomenal. Again, we know what Giannis has been doing. But we also got to talk about Ryan Hollins. I mean, he's been fucking great. He's been amazing. He basically single-handedly beat the Warriors, I think, like 2 days ago, which is insane, right? Like, that's something that you did not expect. This, like, I think he's like a junior player. Like, this is like 3rd year, maybe 2nd year, and you didn't expect that from him. He's great. Again, he's a great defender, great two-way player, good shooter, gets to the rim very effortlessly because of his long wingspan. He's just a really good player overall, and I think, if you're a Bucks fan, you're not too sad about Dame leaving now because of him, in my opinion. But yeah, no, he's been great. Giannis had like a game winner the other day, like a 3-point fadeaway game winner, and that's hilarious because it's like, it goes to show how, like, great he is, like, kind of like how he's improving his game still. And so, like, yeah, I mean, it's absolutely insane what he's been doing. Why the fuck is Steam updating? What the hell, boy? Anyways, but yeah, next is the Bulls. Again, I don't know how they're up here. I don't, but they've been playing fucking amazingly so far, which is insane. Yeah, they have 118.3 offensive rating, points per game, 121.7. Again, they won last night. Came back somehow. Don't know how, but they came back. They were fucking incredible. They played really, really good. And, I'm impressed. They're one of the best teams in the East with the 76ers. Giddey has been doing great, averaging almost a triple-double as well. I've watched some of his highlights, some of his games, or some of the games, and he's so good at manipulating defenses, and making subtle passes, right? Like, he's not like, his passes are very kind of like effortless and almost like super smooth to the point where you don't see it coming. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's so good as a playmaker, is because he's very discreet about his passes. So it's kind of hard to predict when he's going to choose to pass or when he's going to go up to score. He also has, I think, pretty good footwork in terms of downhill scoring, and good touch around the rim as well. But yeah, he's been amazing, which is kind of crazy to say. Like, like the Gitster, he's him. Buzelis, Matas Buzelis has also been very good. That team overall has been great, and again, I know Kenny Beecham is extremely happy seeing his team win like this. I'm happy for him. The Hornets are number 6. They have 117.7 offensive rating, 121.6 points a game, and I think this is one that I did not expect at all as well. But the Bulls, they've been really, really, really good. They just been outscoring teams like crazy. I don't think that their defense is not really the best, but they put so much pressure on the rim, and they put so much. They're so speedy. They're all athletic players. They're they can all create their own shot, and they're just all so good around the rim. And they have, again, LaMelo, who's like a leader at this shit. He is their playmaker. He is the head of the snake, and he's been great. It's a very exceptional team so far. Is it sustainable? Will we see more of it? Who knows? I think we will. I think, again, barring injuries, I think it's going to keep up for a while. Because, again, that team has a bunch of underrated players, to be honest. But, yeah. Now, defensive rating. 1. Who do you expect? OKC. Again, I saw a stat saying, without shade, I should turn to say 87. But with normally the defensive rating is 104.2. That's what it was at this time. But again, like, that's what can you do, right? What can you do? You can't do shit. The only thing that you can do is shoot the lights out. But again, like, I think it's much easier to be. It's much more sustainable to play better defense and allow the players to shoot the 3 than it is to shoot the 3 and be efficient, in my opinion. But yeah, OKC number 1. Number 2 are the Spurs. They've been pretty good defensively, which is interesting because I think last year the Spurs were not great defensively, even with Wemby on the floor. But obviously Wemby's allowed them to be a lot more of a harder team to score on. Again, he's just such a paint beast, such a menace on the restricted area, in the paint. Again, I think he's the best defender in the world. I don't think there's another defender better than him right now. And I actually wanted to see what the team looked like without him. And so far this year, the defensive rating without him, the on and off with Wemby, the on is 100, and off is 127. So they become a pretty bad defensive team with him off. If you're comparing it to like the defensive rating of the normal teams of like the regular teams, like as a individually each team, the defensive rating, it would put them between 29 and 30. So they become like the next 29 basically, which is again like crazy, right? Like Wemby's swing is that much on the defensive end. So yeah, and we knew that was gonna happen anyways. We knew what Wemby was. It scares me to think about what he could do on a better defensive team. Like, can you imagine him on OKC? Like, that'd be you. You would not be able to score on him. You would not be able to score on the niggas, bro. Like, you just would not be able to. The Heat, number 3, 109.9. We will talk about the Heat in a little bit. So I'm gonna skip over them. Again, Nuggets are 4. Only team to be top 5 in both. Pistons 110.8. Now the Pistons are a very, very scrappy defensive team. We just lost against them. Very unfortunate. But they foul a lot too. And I think so far they're actually the team that the opposing team they commit the most fouls so far, or at least they're the team they allow their opponents to make the most free throws or free throws attempted. So that just goes to show how much they do end up being called for the fouls that they commit, or how many fouls are being actually called. They're number 1 in that area. But I mean, it's working out anyways, you know what I mean? Like, they top 5 defensive rating, they're great defensively. Isaiah Stewart, Ron Holland, Jalen Duren, they all been great defensively. Of course, Asar Thompson too, who I think is the better defender out of both of them, out of the Thompson twins. But again, obviously, it's so fucking amazing as a defender as well. But yeah, I think it's crazy to see this team be so effective defensively. They're great. And Cavs are number six, with 111, which is something I did not expect either. I thought they're going to be better on the defensive end, like they were last year, but they're better defensively this year, which is kind of interesting. I wonder how much of it has to do with Lonzo being added to the team, if that is the reason why, or maybe DeAndre Hunter starting. Wonder what it is, But it's very interesting to see that team be so great defensively. My next, okay, I'll talk about the Heat. I think with the Heat, the Heat have ingrained this new offensive scheme into their game. And I put air quotations up because realistically it's the same exact thing the Grizzlies had last year. But the main difference is the Grizzlies had like a counter or clockwise kind of rotation to them. It was called the wheel offense, where we basically rotate. Every player would rotate. And so by rotating, they take advantages of the mismatches that are created. With the Miami Heat, a lot of it is more, I don't want to say zigzags, but a lot of it is like a lot more cuttings and a lot more like just mismatches are still being made, and disadvantages are still or advantages are appearing, but a lot of it is less predictable than the wheel, because the wheel is just gonna rotate, right? Like it's gonna rotate. But with the Heat, they're doing it a lot more spontaneous, and I think the reason why it's working for them a lot better than what it did for us, at least so far, if it continues to work, because it's still early in the season, and again, we looked great early in the season until we didn't with that offensive scheme. So we don't know if it's going to continue to be that way, but I think it will. A lot of it has to do because they don't have a number one option like we do, right? They don't have a player who needs the ball in his hand like John Morant. Is that a bad thing? No. Most players need the ball in their hand to be effective. It's not a bad thing. I don't get why people say that it's a bad thing or use it as like a flaw to a player, especially if they're the number one option. Like, you want your number one option to have the ball in his hands anyways. You know what I mean? So, but them not having one, I think, is a lot better, because it removes kind of like any selfishness in that team, right? Like, they're all kind of working together to make sure they have the best shot, and they're all working together to make sure that they're creating these mismatches and these advantages. They also have a lot better athletes. They have a lot better ball handlers, and I think it's going to work a lot better for them than it did for us, and I think it's going to continue that way. They also have a 20.3 assist ratio, meaning most of their buckets come from assists, which again makes sense with this offense. They also have the fastest pace in the league, which is 106.43, basically saying they're one of the fastest teams in the league. You would obviously, make the connection that the reason why they run this offense is because they hired the same coach that we hired last year, which is Noah LaRoche, to implement this offensive kind of scheme. I do wonder again, though, because again, we had the wheel and they don't have the wheel. So I wonder why we had the wheel and they don't. I wonder if it was they realized that this modification is maybe they thought it was better for the Grizzlies and they do the Heat, or maybe the modification of the wheel was removed because they realized it wasn't really impactful like they thought it would be. But I don't know. It's interesting. But the Miami Heat are a very fun team to watch. They're very much a league pass team. They're amazing. I love watching them. Norm Powell, hope you get back soon, because he was averaging crazy numbers prior to the injury. And Tyler Hero, I think when he comes back, is going to also fit great with this, because again, having shooters in this scheme is always going to make it a lot easier for the players who are cutting, right? It just will. I think so far unfortunately, with some injuries, moving on from Miami Heat, some injuries that the leagues are facing. Ant's injured, but I think he's been questionable for today. He might come back today. I don't think he will, to be honest. I'd assume it's probably like during the weekend he might come back. Zion got injured, unfortunately, and it's crazy because people were kind of saying people were putting him in insane talks off pictures. I think I talked about it in the list, where people were putting him, but. And again, no hate to Zion either. Like, you want to see him play, you want to see him win, but it's like, I think some people, I don't know, I don't know. I'm not here to hate on Zion. I don't hate Zion at all, or have disdain for Zion. OKC injuries I talked about as well, and the Grizzlies injuries. We're still missing Zach Edey, we're missing Ty Jerome, and Brandon Clark, and those are all three guys who are going to be very important for our team. Extremely important to our team, especially because we've been fucking losing. We're 3-5 right now. 2 of the games that we won are job responsible because it's game winners. Then another game, I think it was a Pacers game. Like we just beat them because we just played better that game. I think Mathurin played really well that game though. But again, the Grizzlies have been like. I expected Ja to do a lot better. I thought the first game of the season, Ja looked like him. I swear to God, on my life, I thought we were getting MVP Ja. And then it just went downhill. The second game against the Heat, I can understand why we lost. I think it was a back-to-back. I could be wrong on that. But we got blown out. Getting blown out by the Heat is disgusting. I did not watch that game because I was out hooping. But thank fucking God I didn't. I would have been pissed the fuck off. Are you shitting me? Oh my goodness. Again, Miami Heat are a great team. When it happened, I was like, why the fuck did we just get blown out by them? But then I realized, Miami Heat are a good team right now. And I kind of had that feeling too, because Miami Heat had like a great game against the Magic. And the Magic, and I think it points to 2 things. Miami Heat are a lot better than what I initially thought. And the Magic are not the team that I thought they would be. And that's what that game kind of put in my mind. But then as time went on, I kind of realized, that might actually be truthful. But yeah, they've been, the Grizzlies they've been kind of mid so far. And I expected a lot more from the team. Obviously, the controversy with Ja and the whole coaching thing. My whole opinion on it, my number one main thing, whatever problem he had, should not at all have come out publicly like that. Especially in a fucking interview, reporting Q&A question, post-game interview. Like, if it came out later in the season, like on ESPN article or some shit, that's completely different, right? Like, that's what happened with the Taylor Jenkins thing. And honestly, we didn't learn anything new that wasn't already said. If you were like a Grizzlies fan, everything that was already said, like, we already knew. Like, so there was nothing really new, like, to be found from that article. But now it's like, for him to say what he said, even if he was right, and I think there is truth to what he was saying, in terms of at least what he was implying, like, you just don't say that. You don't say that publicly. Like, you just don't. Like, that's something you go to the coach and you talk about, and you hope for better, but you still play. And so what he did, playing like shit in the second half the way that he did, just completely disconnected and just not playing at all while allowing Luka to just go off like that. Like, and then, blaming your coach. I understand the coach, what they said, what they did, what they're doing might affect you and your confidence. But for it to like make you, for you to put the accountability or put the blame on them, like it just came off as like like it didn't come off like a leader, and that's not what. Again, and that's nowhere near what I thought that he looked like or sounded like the past few games, because he looked very, very much like a respectful and like he sounded like a leader in those post game interviews and the losses against like the Heat and I forgot who else that we lost against, but he sounded very much like like this is This is my fault. I got to run the offense better. You know, he said good things. And so, yeah, for the difference in that interview was bizarre. And, you know, again, him giving up on the team like that was horrible. I think the fact that you gave up on your coach and disrespected your coach, you gave up on your team, which is like the worst thing to do. Almost giving up on like the city of Memphis that's been backing you up ever since, you know, like the unfortunate accidents that had happened, you know, with the gun stuff. And then three, you gave up on yourself, right? Like you just gave up on yourself. Like you just stopped trying. And, you know, that's not, especially Ja. Like I feel like Ja is one of those players where it's like he embodies perseverance on the court. And for him to do that was just like, it was extremely disappointing. And, you know, well, obviously what followed after were the trade rumors, even though we all knew it wasn't going to happen anyways. But then, you know, Ja being like, kind of giving vague answers as he does. He low-key is sassy ass. Like it came off as like, you know, like this might be the beginning of the end. But thankfully, an article just came out today saying that the Grizzlies are not trading him. And we already knew that, though, to be honest, right? But like the confirmation is nice or whatever. But again, the other side of it, and this is where I understand why he kind of said what he said. Again, you know, 2-3 years ago, you were like a top 15 player in the league, right? Good things happen when the ball was in their hand. Now, again, they had a shitty injury year, and after the suspension and all of that, right? Even though those 9 games that he played during that year looked amazing, and, you know, you kind of look up for them. Like, again, like, you knew they weren't going anywhere, but at least it's a year where, you know, like, you take it as a developmental year, and you get better, right? But again, the surgery happened. They got Zach Eotb out of that year. But they also traded away all of the guys that kind of like, you know, they traded away all of the guys that you kind of fucked with, right? I kind of like had your back and, you know, had a bond with you, blah, 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 all that. Then, even though we dragged Zach Eotb to replace Steven Adams, we introduced an offensive scheme that takes the ball out of your hands, Ja's hands, and says, fuck it, all lives matter ball. Now, again, I understand that a lot of it happened, or at least in my opinion, why it happened, or why it was introduced, was because of the fact that Ja's injury prone. And so what happened because of that, they wanted to make an offense that was consistent, something stable, to where when Ja was off the floor because of injuries, you know, like they have this offensive scheme that they can rely on. Everything looks good, whatever, blah, blah, until it doesn't look good anymore, right? And now you're like, okay, give me the ball back in my hand, I'm going to make shit work. We drafted Zach Eotb in order to make him be a screener, right? And he's one of the best screening prospects in the history of the sport. And we're not using him as a screener. We're using him like a cutter and dunk spot guy. Absolutely insane, right? So they do that. They get the ball in your hands. They introduce an offensive scheme that takes you out of the picture, really. Even though you are the sole fucking reason as to why the franchise is as big as it is right now, ever since the Ja era, right? Like, people watch the Grizzlies because of you, right? The Ja, right? And, you know, you're the face of the franchise. You are the number one option of that team. They take the ball out of your hands. They trade away all your guys. Introduce this offensive scheme that fucking stinks ass, and you're playing like ass because of it, because it's playing in your flaws. And yes, obviously, you know, you can improve with the flaws that you have, but I'm not saying it can't happen. But, you know, at this point in your career, you're not a good 3-point shooter. You're not the best defender. You're not really a cutter because you're only 6'3". You're not really strong, and that's fine, right? But again, you are the number one option. Why the fuck are you introducing an offensive scheme that puts you out of the pocket? This doesn't make sense, right? Then they fire the coach that I think everybody in the association really, they did fuck with, but I think they realized they gave up on him because of the fact that the coaches surrounding Taylor and surrounding the coaches, including Taylor and the coaches surrounding him, including Noah LaRoche, were implementing the scheme that nobody was like, people, they didn't fuck with, right? And they lost. Again, offense was never a problem, honestly. Like, as long as Ja was playing, offense was never a problem. It's always been the defense. But at the come like the middle to second half of the season, the defense fell apart because nobody wanted to listen to the coach. And by doing so, coach got fired, hired this new coach, and now this new coach is, again, even though last year, and this is the part that confuses me, everybody endorsed him, everybody loved him, said that they said that he was super direct, head on, and he'll go over shit with you, blah blah, whatever. Even though Ja Morant averaged around 30 points under the new coaching hiring last year, which in my opinion completely erases all of the washed allegations, because the nigga literally averaged 30 points against an extremely tough schedule of teams. But yeah, he played great. And then now come this season, where we have a team that's really kind of built around Ja and Jaren for once, and now we're having these short substitutions, this offensive scheme where they want Ja again, even though he has the ball in his hands more, but they want him to shoot more. And it's like, sure, 100%, I get that, but you're forcing him to play in his flaws again, or his play against what he's good at. And it's gonna affect them. It's going to affect them because, again, like, unfortunately, he may not be good at it, and it frustrates him. But again, like, just 3-4 years ago, kind of seems long. Even though Ja, in my opinion, has progressed as a player, like, he's gotten better in terms of skill and stuff like that. They were 50 seed. They won 50 wins, or they won 50 times twice in a row. They were the second seed back to back with Ja at the helm. So why remove it? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So, again, I understand why he did what he did, but I don't agree with what he did and the way he went about doing it. We lost against the who do they play? The Pistons. Even though he looked a lot better than the Pistons compared to the Lakers game, like, he was really trying to take advantage of the drives and create opportunities for his teammates, and that's something again that you wanted to do because he's such a great playmaker. I mean, he had a double-double, even though he shot extremely horrible in general. But yeah, they lost the game because they really just couldn't close, and they allowed a lot of threes near the end, and Cade turned it up. So that's, Cade did what a superstar is supposed to do. And yeah, they play again tonight. Very excited to watch them play. But yeah, we're only 7 games into the season. Still around like 80 or 75 more games to go. So a lot of basketball left in the season, and I'm fucking excited. I'm happy seeing basketball come back. This is my favorite season too. I love the cold. This literally is being on that couch with my blanket and just watching people hoop on the TV. I can't ask for a better life, bro. I can't ask for a better life. I love hoops to death. But yeah, anyways, that's gonna be the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any opinions, comment them down. If you think I'm stupid as fuck and I'm bugging for some shit, that's on me. Comment them though. I would love to hear it. Again, I would love to absolutely hear your opinions. I would love to hear if you have any improvements for me to make, anything like that either. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.